What's going on, guys? Waco from Revolution here with the great Karl-Friedrich Scheufele, the president of Ferdinand Berthoud and also the co-president of Chopard. But today we're here to talk about Ferdinand Berthoud. And I think the first thing that I should say to him, first of all, as a lover of the watches that he creates, and second of all, as a member of the jury of the GPHG, is congratulations on winning the Mechanical Exception Award for this year. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
And this amazing watch, the FB2 RSM, is an extraordinary timepiece, chain infusé, tourbillon, dead seconds mechanism. Tell us a little bit about how this is kind of the culmination of the first chapter of what you want to unveil with Ferdinand Berthoud.
Well, we took the FB1 to new heights. You just mentioned deadbeat second, which has always been a dream of mine to integrate in a watch. And this was the perfect opportunity. What can I tell you? I'm so thrilled that we won this prize. Fourth time in a row.
Incredible.
4 participations, 4 prizes, but I'm really proud, most of all, for our team.
Yes.
They really deserve it because we went on this journey not too long ago, presented the first Ferdinand Berthoud back in 2015 and won the Aiguille in 2017.
Yes.
What a journey, and there's a lot to do, and of course we are here to present yet another Ferdinand Berthoud watch.
I want to talk to you a little bit about this wonderful moment. So 2015, you present the FB1, chain infusé, and one of the most stunning tourbillons I've ever seen in a pillar construction, which no one was making at this time. Really a reference to the old marine chronometer movements of Ferdinand Berthoud. And then you go on and you win in 2016 the GPHG as well. And then you're sitting there in the jury, and that year, the Strike 1 from Chopard is presented also in competition.
Yeah.
And what do you do then? Because there was a conflict of interest, is that correct?
Well, as soon as the full strike came up and I saw that this was creating a potential, if not a real conflict, even within myself, I decided that I should leave the room and let everyone else decide, which I think was the only right thing to do.
This is one of the most legendary moments in GPHG history. And then that evening later, even though you were part of the jury, you had no idea which watch was going to win.
Absolutely none.
So when the full strike was announced as the winner of that year, were you surprised?
I was completely blown away, you can say, yeah.
I mean, 2 years in a row,
yes.
2 different brands, it's unique.
Totally.
No one else has ever done that.
No.
Okay, so we've talked about the early history of what you've created with Ferdinand Berthoud. You've done this extraordinary FB1, which has got the chain infusé and this tourbillon. You did one of the most beautiful watches I've ever seen as well, which is the FB2 with the remontoir d'égalité, with the chain infusé and the stunning remontoir, 1 second remontoir, with a rouleau triangle that's on the escapement wheel. So after that, you did this incredible watch with its dead seconds mechanism as well. And then tell me, for the FB3, what did you want to achieve?
Well, the FB3 has been somehow revolving in my head since quite a long time. Because obviously the FB1 and what followed with the very elaborate construction, the fusée chain, would also mean a very restrictive, very small production and no compromise, obviously, on quality and finish. So I thought to slightly enlarge the collection of FB watches, but to create something really FB-like, still very interesting and yet a little bit more affordable. And we ended up creating the FB3, which I think is I fell in love with the watch as soon as I saw it finished.
It's phenomenal.
And it does have features which are unique again. Cylindrical hairspring, chronometer certified, a very long power reserve, 3-day power reserve, and so Berthoud-like. I don't know if you agree, but I think you can immediately see the family values of Berthoud in this watch, just like the FP1.
I totally agree. And first of all, I should mention that you have also won the 2022 Revolution Award for Best Men's Watch for the FP3. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
And it is a work of remarkable beauty. You know, it's interesting to me because when I think of like what should win a men's watch, it doesn't necessarily have to be a super complicated watch. It should be a relatively straightforward watch, but executed at a level in which is breathtaking, you know, and makes you dream and really shows you what horology is. And that's exactly what is embodied by this timepiece. I mean, when I look at it, when I look at the architecture of the 10 bridges in the back, when I look at this incredible architecture of these 3 bridges, one for the escape wheel, one for the, the pallet, one for the anchor with the pallet, and then one for the balance wheel, just on the left side in a straight line. It's exquisite. Then when I look at the finish of each of these bridges, it's breathtaking. And when I look at the incredible architecture of this, which is the beating heart of the watch, I'm blown away. And then add to that a cylindrical
After that, you pull the crown and see what happens.
And it's stop seconds as well.
And it stops.
I love that. I love that. And then I love that you're the only cylindrical hairspring watch in existence, and it's cost certified.
Yes.
Because if you want to create something from a brand that is famous for chronometers, it had to be.
Well, basically, no, we had no choice. FB makes us certify every piece we make.
That's incredible.
Otherwise, we would not be kindly looked upon by Ferdinand Berthoud up there.
You know, it's just majestic. And then when I look at this sort of grenet or frosted finish, which is hand applied to the bridge that contains the power reserve, and also the bridge that is, retaining the barrel. When I look at the circular brushing of the barrel itself.
The finish is relatively simple, but so refined.
But so well done, you know? I mean, the anglage on the barrel itself will make, like, most watchmakers weep. It's incredible. It's absolutely breathtaking. I guess the 2 questions I would like to ask you is, Berthoud now is such a huge hit, and everyone is trying to acquire one of these watches. Yeah. But the question I would have for you, Karl-Friedrich, is that you're in a very unique position where on one side, you're the co-president of one of the biggest brands, but on the other side, you are the president, and driving force behind one of the smallest brands as well. Yeah. And everyone looks at Berthoud today and imagines that it was a huge success story from the beginning, but there were challenges initially, am I correct?
Oh. There were challenges building the first movement because of the incredible forces involved. If you imagine that fusee and chain only attached at the bottom,
right,
and then you have the tension created by the chain,
right, and it's a suspended fusee. You're right. Exactly.
I can go on for hours telling you about the initial technical challenges,
right,
and then the challenges were there when it comes to distribution, but because who could actually explain this timepiece in all its details and really pay justice to it?
Exactly.
And this was a big challenge in the beginning, and luckily somehow these first moments are behind us now.
Yes.
There's also the general level of understanding for independent brands has grown as we went. But the remaining challenge is the production capacity, and the bad news is that I don't think we will be able to overcome that in the very near future.
Indeed, sir. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Sincere, because I think that the people behind this company have always been champions of independent watchmaking, And I know you've got an amazing relationship even with LUC, stretching back many years as well.
Yes.
What do they bring to this wonderful partnership between you and them?
Well, Sincere was the first partner who really had confidence in investing in the very first Ferdinand Berthoud watches, and I think the very first not Asian but worldwide presentation was we had one in Paris and then we had one in Singapore, and that's, you know, it was beginning stage, and something I really appreciated, because again, distribution was not you know, a given thing. You had to find the partners who could actually explain the intricacy and the speciality of like a fusée chain movement with a tourbillon. You know, it needs some explanation.
I mean, we always discuss this, but the transmission of the passion for watches is based primarily on the human beings that have that ability.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
You know, and I think that they have that ability and that passion, which is great.
Absolutely, and I think they are set to grow in this direction and together with us.
Well, you know, I love that there's also another similarity between the Lim family, who owns Cortina, has acquired Sincere now. When they did, they decided to focus Sincere on being one of the great champions of independent watchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, in Monaco, you have Art in Time as well, where you are a huge champion of independent watchmaking as well. What is it about independent watchmaking, which this is clearly a sublime example of, that you love so much?
Well, you see, basically, while I was involved, and we started well before 2015, of course, started in 2009, 2010, I realized the more I evolved with the first watch, how complicated it is, even if you have the financial means, to put together a project like this.
Right.
Now, if you don't have necessarily the financial means and the production capacity at your disposal in-house, like I was very lucky to have,
Right.
then I have even more respect for these independent watchmakers who really start with very humble beginnings.
Right.
And with Art in Time, I thought I could kind of help them to put up a stage which they deserve, and Berthoud also deserved.
Right.
And also step away from the traditional kind of watch shop that everybody, because I think these are pieces of art.
Correct.
And that's why they need to be in a gallery space. And the underlying idea of Art in Time is that it's a gallery space.
That's phenomenal, and you were so prescient in your vision, because that is the sector of watchmaking that has sort of grown the most in terms of desirability, and you are perfectly positioned now as one of the great champions of it. It's an amazing thing that you've done. You're a champion of independent watchmaking. You also, I would say, resurrected, probably I would even say founded, one of the coolest independent watchmaking brands around, and you also co-chair the, a juggernaut of luxury, which is Chopard. So, sir, I bow to you and congratulations on everything you do. Big respect.
Thanks.
Thank you.